you mentioned a very good point here that I really want to talk about for a while, because you
Okay.
just mentioned a lot of school, like you see this, you see that, and then today we call it elite, right?
Oh,
Okay, so I kind of, this past week I kind of thought about this whole elite thing, and I noticed, like, I don't know how many decades, if you notice, like, okay, so when we born, and especially, I believe every country they give you a serial number. In this country, it's called social security number. Okay, so it's like like, this person is this number, and then you go to school, and then when you come out of school, you're gonna have to have perfect credit score in order to buy this, buy that, do a lot of things, and then when you go looking for jobs, what do they look for? Resume. You know what I mean? So it's all this path, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to follow, and if you don't, then, like, what you just say, you're not qualified. You're not, you know. And our country is run by elites, if you really think about it, right? So, let's say, Trump, Trump is not in that circle of elites from Yale or Harvard, or is it a lawyer or not, nothing like that. And again, like, based on a lot of stuff people share, or whatnot, it's based on experience. Elite has their own experience. Like, I consider some of my family member, they are more in that category, and I'm not. So when I say something like, for example, uh, someone is, let's say, is jealous of me. Okay, put it that way, and this elite member will say, will think, what's there for people to jealous about you for? What do you have?
oh wow.
Seriously, yes. So what I'm trying to say is, um, when you are in the elite category, you kind of just box yourself in, right? Everything that as long as you're not, like, what you just say, if you're not from Harvard or UCLA, I don't want to hear from your comment, your philosophy, your theory. It doesn't mean anything.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, so that's how our society kind of build up. And then, let's say January 6th, I saw the documentary, and a lot of protesters, not considered elite, they're more just like, how do I say? And a lot of them are ex people are from the veterans, you know?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah. So you see the contracts in that documentary, people in the White House, they'll just have like a suit and, all that. And then they are like, just like, like, oh, I only know how to be the way that school is, like, dress up professional, but the outsider, they will label them a mob, or what is that thing called? Terrorists. Domestic terrorists.
Oh, I just read on X that one
Hmm.
of the candidates for president
Hmm. Okay.
was
And
making a statement, and he
okay.
mentioned when I first heard about January 6th,
Hmm.
I thought it was something very major in terms of, well, let me rephrase it. It's not what he thought it was in the beginning.
Okay.
He heard, the headlines and news outlets, whatever, social media, uh, television. He was saying that he was reading all that, but as time went by, and this was just this morning, he
Hmm.
realized that some of the things that they're saying are not adding up, and it's
Yeah.
starting to look like it's not the way it was reported in the beginning. Have you come across many instances like that? I mean, it's not just the one. Is what I'm trying to find out from you with getting your notifications and who
Oh,
you're following.
right. Yeah. I personally don't watch traditional media since February of this 2023. So, you know, So I don't follow the news anymore, the traditional news. But what I do know for January 6th, there's a lot of, they call it conspiracy. But based on what watched that documentary on, there's, like, for example, there's a part that the Capitol Police is calling out to for assistance. Let's say for the state police, okay, or the next Virginia State Police for assistance, and whoever picked up the phone on the other end, they they reply, they're not available, no assistance. And then one even call out to National Guard, okay, then they all say the same thing. Oh, National Guard is not available right now. Don't you think that's kind of odd if this is a big deal? and then
Right.
and then like the Capitol is got attacked and National Guard is not even response? How scary is that? if you really think
Right. No, there's no one picking up the phone.
yeah.
Right.
But on the other hand, why is this happening? I mean, right? You know, there's two sides of it. One side as a citizen, oh, how scary is that? What happened to our security in this country, right?
And it's just, you have a valid question. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
something that you think about. It's like, what happened? Is that true? Did
yeah.
they really not answer?
Or they're
And when did
really
they
not
call them?
available.
Right?
Yeah, or they not really available. you know,
And how could that be? Because they are supposed to be, the Capitol Police. Everybody knows the Capitol has been around for hundreds of years, and that's a well guarded place. I mean, they have
right.
fence around it. You ever see that movie White House Down? Or that was they got a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's tricky about the documentary show me is like that was spring, right? 2021, January 2021. So there's still a curfew. So everyone has to go home, stay at home after 6 p.m. So funny thing is when the time comes to the curfew time, like around 5 something, oh, Virginia State Police come by assist. Oh, the National Guard finally arrived. How many? I don't know how many hours is that after. Well, that's I don't know. That doesn't add up. And that if this is if those police, those National Guard really not available for this many hours, then
Now I cannot
then I don't know
confirm.
what should I say about this security. So
I can't confirm this. I going on memory, so I may be incorrect. But wasn't there a similar situation with what's happening over with in the Middle East, where the Israeli command center was down for like 6 hours? And it's like, what happened? That is supposed to be like the highest. You mentioned the elite of the elite of the
right.
world, and they were down for 6 hours. How does that happen? Right?
Yes. No, there's a lot of question, throughout history, there's some events are very questionable, like including the JFK assassin. The one guy pulling off doing that assassin. Is that possible? you know what I mean? Without any, you know, other group assist or other um, country per se, right? Because I know from what I learned, because I'm not born in that era, but I do, watch a lot of documentaries, and JFK is very out there. He for his time, right? He wanted to do a lot of things, and he won't even want to bring, about aliens and all. Uncover the aliens incident, and then want to go to the moon and create this space travel and everything. Yeah. So,
I've heard, I don't know where I've heard this, but maybe someone else had heard this.
mm,
They're comparing Donald Trump to John F. Kennedy.
yes.
Not, you know, line by line, but overall. he wants to change things, is what
Right.
they're talking about. And I'm like, have you heard of that, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I did heard that somehow as well. I forgot where. And yeah, because we, like I mentioned, our country is run by the elite, and that post that I post about MTG, my friend challenged me about understanding of U.S. Constitution. Okay.
Oh,
And,
before you go
yeah.
on, you know what I heard the other day?
Hmm.
That if you know the Constitution,
Hmm.
you're not a good person. You're not a good citizen.
I don't know, but she was very proud, very glad that she studied the Constitution.